So the key difference to differentiate a pancreatic pseudocyst from a pancreatic abscess is the presence of air foci, or gas foci within the peripancreatic collection. So in a case of acute or chronic or autoimmune pancreatitis, you can find some peripancreatic collections that may be seen within or surrounding the pancreatic head. These lesions are pancreatic pseudocysts. A pancreatic pseudocyst usually develops with any kind of inflammation of the pancreas, either acute, chronic, acute on top of chronic, or even autoimmune pancreatitis, as it's only a collection of enzymes. Okay, so when you see it, what to do? Pancreatic pseudocyst should be excluded from the pancreatic abscess, as pancreatic abscess is an emergency and should be drained immediately by a subcutaneous route, subcutaneous drainage or external drainage by insertion of a subcutaneous catheter or tube. So when you see just a peripancreatic collection containing fluid density without the presence of air, this is pancreatic pseudocyst. Okay, so that's it. Pancreatic pseudocyst is only treated by conservative management or endoscopic drainage. Endoscopic drainage, because it's only a kind of collection of enzymes, as long as it's not infected. However, pancreatic abscess should be externally drainage. Okay, and both of them can be seen in pancreatitis cases. Okay, so how do you know that there is a pancreatitis in this case? This is the normal shape of the pancreas on a CT scan with the head. If you measure the head, it should be less than 2.5 centimeters. Body and tail should be less than 2 centimeters. However, if you compare this finding, if you compare this appearance with this, you'll understand that this pancreas is not normal anymore. It's not normal. There's diffuse enlargement of the pancreas with the pancreatic head here is measured 3.5 centimeters. It's not 2.5 centimeters anymore. The pancreatic head is more than 2.5 centimeters with diffuse enlargement. Here the pancreatic head is 3.7 centimeters, more than 2.5 centimeters. Here the pancreatic head is 4 centimeters. Okay, so there is diffuse enlargement of the pancreas with loss of the normal lobular contour of the pancreas. As you can see here, can you see the lobular contour of the pancreas? Here's loss loss. So this is another sign. If you see a pancreas with loss of the lobular contour, suspect there's inflammation, loss of the normal lobular contour of the pancreas. Okay. In this case, there is only enlargement of the pancreatic head with replacement of the body and tail with soft tissue. So if you try to find the pancreas, you will find only the pancreatic head, which is enlarged, with loss of the body and tail. You can see body and tail, and instead, the body and tail is replaced by a fibrous tissue. This means that this patient has acute on top of chronic pancreatitis. This patient now has acute on top of chronic pancreatitis, as repeated inflammation of the pancreas leaded to deposition of inflammatory or fibrous tissue, and that's what exactly happened in this case. Okay. Here's an example of the pancreas, which is atrophic. Can you see the atrophic parenchyma? This is the atrophic parenchyma of the pancreas, and this is the dilated pancreatic duct. This is the atrophic parenchyma of the pancreas. This is an example of chronic pancreatitis. Next sign to show you that there is a pancreatic inflammation. The pancreatic margins are indistinct with surrounding peripancreatic fat stranding. Okay, so if you go like this on a normal pancreas, you will find the lobular contour, and then the surrounding fat is very clear with the normal fat density. However, here the pancreatic margins are indistinct. You can't identify the pancreatic margin from the surrounding fat. The pancreatic margins are indistinct with surrounding peripancreatic fat stranding, as you can see here. Can you see the peripancreatic fat stranding here? This is an example of acute pancreatitis. Okay. In this case, this is an example of autoimmune pancreatitis. There is a thin rim of hypoattenuation soft tissue, a thin rim of hypoattenuation soft tissue surrounding the pancreas, giving the halo sign or the halo appearance of autoimmune pancreatitis. A thin rim of hypoattenuating soft tissue. Why I've mentioned all of these cases? Just to grab your attention that you can find the pancreatic pseudocysts, as you can see here. Can you see all of these cysts? All of these cysts are pancreatic pseudocysts. You can find it in a case of acute on top of chronic pancreatitis, in a case of autoimmune pancreatitis, as in this case, and even a normal acute pancreatitis case. Okay. So that's it. Thank you.